Thane is usually in the top 5 or 6 cities across India.
Reintroducing the credit-linked subsidy scheme that had been discontinued around 3 years ago.
2 degrees cooler than Bombay. I don't like that, but ठीक है तो है. Why Thane is now the go-to housing market in the MMR region?
Thane is the city of lakes, it has hills, it has a really great lifestyle, and more often than not, it has larger land parcels available when compared to Mumbai.
What is happening in Thane which we don't know?
The government has issued tenders for the coastal road to be built all the way from Hiranandani Estate, taking you to Balcom and Saket Road and then to Thane city.
As a real estate developer, what is it that you want from the new government which will take charge from June 2024? What is that one thing you want from them? Hello and welcome to my new show Location Nexus, where we pick a location in the Mumbai metropolitan region and we call industry experts to talk about it. So today is our maiden episode and I'm so excited to invite two guests, my clients, my friends. Both are absolutely young, budding entrepreneurs. Both have studied in the United States and they've come back. So they're part of my brain gain back to India. So it's a delight to welcome the lady first, Ayushi from Ashar Group, and of course the gentleman, Anuj from Dosti. So welcome. And today we're going to talk about Thane city and the housing market here. So let me begin. The Sobo, which is the South Mumbai, and we all love it, sells about 2,000 apartments per year. The Eastern Suburbs, which is right next door, sells about 16,000. But Thane city sells 13,000 apartments. That's a lot of apartments, right? And my favorite part is each apartment average is about 1 crore rupees. And that's the sweetest spot to buy in India. Your views on why Thane is now the go-to housing market in the MMR region. Ayushi, do you want to start first?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you, Abhishek, for having us on your show. Thane specifically has seen tremendous gain because of infrastructure more than anything else. Second, I think, is natural beauty. Thane is the city of lakes, it has hills, it has a really great lifestyle, and more often than not, it has larger land parcels available when compared to Mumbai. So we often see people who want an upgrade in lifestyle, who want larger gated communities, who want to really enjoy their lifestyle quotient, so they step away from Mumbai, come into Thane, and now because of the connectivity and infrastructure, like we said, it's just hop, skip and jump. Like, I have been born and raised in Thane my entire life. I've went to school here, I've lived here, and I've seen the difference. Like, before it used to take me, 30 minutes to get to a specific point, and now 30 minutes, I mean within Thane. But now with the infrastructure development, I can get from Thane to BKC in, 35 to 40 minutes. And that's great. I mean, and you're getting your space, which you don't get as much in Mumbai.
So you're basically saying there are bigger townships here. So there's more community living. You're saying now you have your own central park.
Yeah.
Right? Mumbai waited for a metro for 30 years. My dad told me that metro aa raha hai, ab aa raha hai, right? Thane is getting in earlier, right? So that's great. And it's affordable, which Mumbai is not. Right? But Anuj, you have the same view, something else to add. Why Thane?
Thanks for having us on the show, Abhishek. And quite similar to what Ayushi mentioned, that Thane is known for being an industrial city back in the day. And when industries were shunted out of Thane, we were lucky to be able to get nice and organized parcels of land that had a clean title, unlike what challenges we face in other suburbs or cities. And all these factory lands had good layouts, be it multiple, or I would say more than 3/4 of the projects in Thane have come up on old factory lands, and the developer gets the advantage to plan a good layout, have large open spaces, provide a large clubhouse, and give more community living. As you mentioned, the customers in Thane can really enjoy things what one cannot enjoy in Mumbai. Apart from that, we have seen infrastructure has been booming in Thane ever since the last 10 to 12 years, with large roads, clearances of encroachments on the roads to clean up highways, make them larger and wider. If I give you an example about our project, Dosti Vihar at Pokhran Road number 1, when we began the development in 2004, we used to get there using a 3 to 4 meter, I would say, extremely raw gravel road. And that actually deterred our sales. But today when we look at Pokhran Road number 1 and 2, the roads are 24 meter wide or 30 meter wide DP roads that one would, I would say right now, it's like it's envious to stay at Pokhran Road number 1 and 2. But back in the day, things were quite different, and with the way Thane has grown, plus we're having metro connectivity already being built in Thane. We'll have Seeps and Badala connected to Thane via metro line number 8, and metro line number 4 will take you from Thane, Bhiwandi, Kalyan. Similarly, metro line 10 will combine Mira Road to Thane. So overall, Thane has a lot of advantages for home buyers, and it's a very family-oriented town.
Can we make apartments which are not a crore rupees, probably worth 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs, and our Honorable Prime Minister's favorite, housing for all? Can we make those? Are we doing that? Are you doing that? Are you doing that?
Well, we are working on that and been doing that for the last 4-5 years or so. 2 of our projects in Thane, one being Dosti West County. West County has a range of apartments ranging starting all the way from 40-45 lakhs, but that's an extremely small 1 BHK of roughly 290 square feet. And in the same township, we even offer a 3-bed and 4-bed, going all the way to 1.5 to 2 crore. But we have one other dedicated township that's 4 kilometers away from Balkum, known as Dosti Greater Thane, where the entire project is known for apartments that sell under 65 lakhs. We in fact started phase 1 in 2020 during peak pandemic, and we feel very proud to say that we could sell 1750 homes worth 27 lakhs within a span of 10 to 12 days. And that was during COVID. We were extremely worried that any given moment the cops are going to come and shut our sales office. But things went smooth, and within a month's time or so, we were able to wrap up phase 1 entirely. We then chose to launch the next phase in 2020 January, where we chose to go slightly higher on the apartment sizing. Phase 1 had apartments of 320 square feet, and phase 2 apartments started at 350 square feet, going all the way to 560 square feet.
Ayushi, if I can ask you, so when you enter into Thane, you enter Majivada first, right? So that's grew. Then of course Pokhran grew. Now it's Cold Shade. There's Balkum. Is there, to your mind, something, the next micro market within Thane city where you see lot of action happening either by yourself or your friends in the industry?
Yeah, I think the first, like back in the day when you enter Thane, I think Teen Hath Naka was, that junction where which connected Thane to, Thane city, and, all the way going up to Cadbury and then going forward. So yes, of course, Majivada has gone through its entire life cycle. It's one of the most well-known junctions of Thane. We have 2 projects there. They're on either side of the bridge and doing very well. But I think the unexplored locations of Thane, and that's the beauty of Thane, right? You have these micro markets where there has been so much history, because Thane is actually a very, very old city. The first railway line was laid from Thane to CST. That Thane goes back that much in history. So I think 2 micro markets for us. One would be Srinagar, which is at what we call it now, the Mulund-Thane corridor almost. I've lived there my entire life, and it connects Mulund and Thane through a back road, and it enjoys the best views, tremendous natural beauty. It's closer to Mulund station, or 2.5 kilometers to Mulund station. Thane station is about 4.5 kilometers from there, completely unexplored, offshoot from Bagle Estate. So the same way that Bagle Estate enjoyed its popularity because of all the commercial and IT developments that came in here, I think Srinagar is going to be the home city for everyone working at Bagle Estate, because Bagle Estate as a whole has almost 2 million square feet of office spaces up and coming, in the next 4 to 5 years, according to some data that I read. So I think Srinagar is a very, very promising location. So I think that is an amazing opportunity.
So then am I allowed to say that if you're living in Bombay, Bandra to Nariman Point, there's a floor rise price for the sea view. Can I say here you have a floor rise price for
100%.
the Yaur Hills and the greenery, which you might not get in Bombay,
100%.
right?
100%. And we already have a project that we have delivered there recently. It's called Ashar Maple. And the views from there are stunning. Right from this office building, if you know we were to come in at the sunset time, you will get views like never before. Just views of the Sanjay Gandhi National
But then
Park.
are you breathing better air than we are?
It's 2 degrees cooler. Actually, it is 2 degrees cooler in Srinagar than the rest of the city.
Wow. So Anuj, if I can ask the same question to you, within the Thane district, which location or a micro location do you see further growth from a housing, infrastructure, community living, everything put together over the next 5 to 10 years?
Before I answer that question, Thane has seen growth ever since, I would say, the Mulund Check Naka also. Back in the day, or 2 decades ago, we had seen good growth at the early parts of Godbandar Road at Pokhran Road 1 and 2. That was in the early 2000s. As you came to 2010 to 20s, Godbandar Road thoroughly exploded all the way from city till Bhayandarpada and beyond such locations. Now what we're seeing is, I would say, with the slight saturation of Godbandar Road, Balkum as a village has grown tremendously. Balkum enjoys more than 5 to 7 large developments, all of 50 to 70 acres each. And all the developers there are going to ensure that whatever they give, whatever they do, they won't undercut each other and they will deliver the best possible product for the customer. That's why you have the Grand Central Park and you even have a Euro school coming up at West County. But for the next 5 to 10 years, I would lay my eyes beyond Balkum. And as you cross Kashili Bridge, just 4 km from Balkum and 7 km from Viviana Mall, we have a project in Kalher and Kashili micro market known as Dosti Greater Thane. The advantage in Dosti Greater Thane is that it's a unexplored, untapped location by many developers. In fact, Puranics had one development there back in the 2000s when they did bungalow living out there. Now FSI is so high that we definitely are not going to do that. We are doing a large 150-acre township with multiple towers, be it residential, some commercial, some warehousing in the future as well. And we have launched 2 phases out there. In this project, the main advantage that a home buyer gets is that he can enjoy the luxuries of Thane at possibly half the price of Thane. When we launched phase 1, we were selling at a price of 7,500 per square feet on RERA carpet. In 2020, the home buyers who booked apartments then experienced a 25 to 30% hike in less than 3 years when we launched phase 3 at a price of 9,500. And even though we look at developers, including ourselves, are selling products out of Balkum just across the creek at a price of 16 to 18,000. Down the line, we anticipate pricing at Greater Thane to come to not similar levels, but to be at a similar number, maybe 10%, 15% less compared to what we are doing at Balkum. And what we see is the concept of arbitrage. So as you go more and more further away compared to a CBD, let's take an example of BKC being a CBD. As you go more and more away in a circular manner away from BKC, pricing is dropping gradually. But somehow as you cross Balkum and go to Greater Thane, the pricing used to drop tremendously by more than 40%. And beyond, I would say, distances that are more than 25 km from Viviana Mall are having a better price compared to what we are having. So we are definitely confident and gung-ho about the fact that in the next 5 to 10 years, our buyers, our development will see a tremendous price escalation that's going to help pretty much the first home buyer tremendously, the way they had seen the real estate boom back in 2002 to 4 onwards.
What is it that, and Ayushi, we'll start with the lady first. What is it as a real estate developer, as a real estate enthusiast, what is it that you want from the new government which will take charge from June 2024? What is that one thing you want from them?
So I'll say 2 things. Because you never just ask for one.
Allow me, but we'll allow the lady to do that.
So I think the first and one of the most important ones for the MMR region is the premium cost. because anyway we're in a city where land cost is really high, right? And when you add a heavy premium cost on it, combined with now there was a new, I read it recently, there was a new ruling and we were talking with our accounts team internally that there will be GST even on the premiums we pay. So, I mean, we're already paying premiums and then further there will be a GST added to it. It's almost 45 to 50% also in some projects. Cost goes into land and approvals in Bombay and or the MMR region as a whole. I think that is the biggest pain point of every developer who's really trying to make a project viable, but it often gets stuck because of these type of issues. So I think that's the first one.
And that impacts the home buyer as well. So if you want to
Entirely.
keep the city affordable, you have to do something in this, at least start thinking in these lines, right?
Yeah.
Sure. And the second?
Second one I would probably say is the speed of getting the approvals and the single window approval system that we all talk about. I think as we are progressing towards digitalization, towards a lot of other, faster mediums of getting things done, I feel real estate is one industry that's kind of still a little behind in terms of getting more in depth and fast tracking that process. Because sometimes your MOEF takes almost 6 months and there's money involved, heavy investments involved, all of that is at stake. So I think that is a sweet spot because whatever is the cost to development eventually gets passed on to the homeowner in some way or form. Because the developer is eventually going to pass it on to the homeowner. And these are pockets where we can try to optimize and hopefully the entire ecosystem gets more benefit in the long run from that.
So on your behalf, if I can appeal to the housing ministry or Modi ji if he's listening, क्योंकि ये हुआ है GIFT में. I was recently at GIFT and everybody was raving about this quote unquote single window clearance. So if it can happen there, which means it can happen in India, so it can happen somewhere else as well. So as I said, if somebody is listening, who we really want them to listen, I think that will make a big difference, not only for housing, but also putting India at that stage where he wants it to be. But Anuj, your wish list, what is it that you want?
We all have a huge wish list from the government, but come June 24, when the new government takes position and takes charge of things, something that's going to benefit the home buyer, I would say, tremendously would be reintroducing the credit-linked subsidy scheme that had been discontinued around 3 years ago. That will help in allowing more and more home buyers to possibly buy their first house. That's going to create a wave, I would say, not for Mumbai or Thane, but it's going to help more in tier 3 and tier 4 cities where your home pricing is less than 20 or less than 18 lakhs. Other than that, we would also be happy if the government could think about reintroducing the concept of ITC in real estate. We used to have, instead of having flat 1% and 5% GST, the government earlier had a concept of 8% and 12%, and the developer could choose which scheme he wanted to opt for. However, since that has been ruled out, the cost of GST on a developer, we are essentially being taxed twice, be it from construction plus your home buyers. That is indirectly being passed on to the home buyer. So if developers have an option to choose based upon the project location, that will help us in driving pricing to be even more affordable and reasonable for the home buyer, eventually helping us to achieve more absorption and the home buyer to achieve his dream apartment.
So it helps both sides, right?
Correct.
It helps. So both the things that you both said is all directed towards allowing you to make houses faster, more affordable, and more in scale, right? That's exactly what we want. Because I don't think anybody will disagree that there is a dearth for housing demand in our country. वो तो कोई उसमें dispute करेगा ही नहीं. The question is, how soon can you make it? And hopefully we can make it outside the 7 metro cities, right? Because let's not forget, only 20%, not even 20%, much lower of urban India lives in these metro cities. Baki cities का क्या? They are capital cities. We need to build houses there as well. So, but if this happens, then you have to promise me that you'll go outside MMR and build houses in a Bhopal and a Jodhpur and a Jaipur, right? So with that promise,
absolutely,
only then
we'll be happy to expand there.
Superb. So Ayushi, you shared with us that you have born and brought up in Thane. So if you can allow me to call you a Thaneite, would love to hear from you more about how Thane has evolved over the last 20-30 years. Usually a city में क्या होता है? Offices बनते हैं, like what happened to BKC, and then you make, our developer friends make houses around it. Would I be right to say, maybe, and you can correct me, यहाँ पे बहुत सारे घर बन गए, अच्छे बड़े, and now you guys are retrofitting nice, amazing, grade A office buildings so that people can actually work, entertain, malls, everything here. Can I say that? Tell me more about Thane, 30 years.
So going back about 25 years, when I went to school far deep into Ghodbunder Road. I went to Hiranandani Estate for school, which was almost 12 kilometers from my house because I live at the border of Thane and Mulund, which is Srinagar. And all I saw was just a barren road. There was one jeep for all the kids who were living on the outskirts of Thane or Mulund, which used to take us from there till the Ghodbunder Road because there was no other, very barely any population who was going that far even within Thane. So all I saw was there was no Wagle Estate as I passed through. There was one narrow highway, half of what it was right now. Ghodbunder Road itself was almost half of what it was right now. During monsoons, it would get heavily waterlogged. And then, there was nothing to the left and right of it. And then I would reach school. And I would come back the same way. I would reach in, my 15-20 minutes. And that was a routine. And then over the last 15 years, Thane has changed dramatically. I mean, every big developer is in Thane. And not just in Thane, they're really driving volume in Thane. And that is because Thane is also reactive, right, as a market. Otherwise, no developer would really come in and put their money and put such heavy investment into large land parcels. It's because Thane is now having that infrastructure. It's having the right set of audience. It's really having that home buyer pool, what you spoke about, right? That 1 CR range. It's really it's attracting that home buyer pool into the city. And that has completely changed the shape of the city. So, you have pockets that are kind of developing around it, which are specializing. So for example, Wagle Estate specializes in commercial and IT development. And, as I said before, there's about 2 million square feet of grade A offices that are coming into Wagle Estate. And people want that, walk to work culture. With the infrastructure coming in, you're okay to go out, step away, 30-40 minutes, you reach BKC whenever you want to dine, whenever you want to go out. But your life is in and around Thane, and that's what I think the new age consumer wants. They want to have more time to be able to spend outside of just traveling around Bombay's traffic. They want to be able to reach their work, home, they want to be able to go to their kids' school, they want to be able to go to a really great restaurant. They want to be able to do all of that, and on top of it, they want to live in a community space.
Completely agree. But then you spoke about infra multiple times, we all spoke about infra so much. And we know it's happening all over the place. But if you have to pin down to maybe 1 or maybe 5, I don't know, what is happening in Thane now for the future? See, jo ho gaya so ho gaya. वो सबको दिख रहा है. But you might know something which the home buyer might not know. कि यहाँ पे ये बनने वाला है, and therefore you should look at Thane with greater love. What would be those infrastructure projects? Anuj, we'll start with you first. What is happening in Thane which we don't know? Which you know?
Sure, we are seeing that Thane is already has seen a rapid infrastructure boom with its roads, bridges, flyovers. Now what we're seeing is further Thane Corporation is trying to amalgamate and mix and allow connectivity to various parts of Thane that wasn't possible before. Recently, it came in the papers that the government has issued tenders for the coastal road to be built all the way from Hiranandani Estate, taking you to Balcom and Saket Road and then to Thane city. That will decongest.
So we waited coastal road in Bombay for so many years. Thane will have its own already.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So we have seen Ghodbunder Road will be heavily decongested with the starting of that road, say in the next 5 to 6 years or so. We're also expecting a few new flyovers to connect Bhiwandi city with Thane city. And we're actually highly anticipating and awaiting for the launch of the metro lines. From a personal point of view and Dosti Group point of view, 2 of our projects are strategically planned just in front of the metro station. So Dosti West County has a metro station just opposite the site. And even as you drive further to Dosti Greater Thane, just at the footprint right at the mouth of the site is where we have a metro station as well.
Wow. Ayushi, do you know something that's happening more in terms of infra that Anuj did not mention?
Couple things. I think metro, definitely what Anuj mentioned, is a big game changer. The second would be probably decongesting the toll naka, and to the extent that I know they're in talks to eliminate the toll plaza altogether, and that would be a seamless connection from Bombay into Thane. It no longer would be a satellite kind of city also. It's just going to be seamlessly part of Bombay. I think that's a big one. And third one, along with the coastal road, which is on the eastern side of Thane, on the western side from Srinagar at MTC to Gaimukh, they've just announced a bypass road. It's about 20 kilometers, which would again decongest Godbandar road, and it'll go from Srinagar all the way through all the Pokhran roads, but from the back, so towards the Sanjay Gandhi side, and it will reach all the way till Gaimukh, from where you can catch the Borivali tunnel and then go to the west. That I think will be again.
So if we can go back, like step back a little, to your father Deepak ji and your father Ajay ji. They both obviously started, I don't know, 25, 30 years back. If you can just share any story that you would have heard as a child, or even now, at what price did they launch? What is the price today? What kind of an appreciation has Thane seen? And with all this infra getting built, all the workforce getting built of all kinds, white collar, blue collar, आगे भी appreciation होगा. So any story that you remember as a child that your father shared?
I mean, he shares it even right now, so because he wants to convey to us that, But I think two major locations. Thane as a market is huge, but in Srinagar, when we launched, and that was our first project, it was a 7-story, 20,000 square feet building, and that was priced at about 1,000 to 1,500 rupees. We launched at that price. And then, of course, now the price there is upwards of 18,000, 19,000, almost touching 20,000, competing with Mulund.
Are you telling me that 1,500 से वो या 1,000 से 20,000 हो गया?
Yeah, 20 years.
20x in 20 years?
Yeah. And another one would be, and that's all across Thane. So we have developments all across. And another one is on Pokhran 2, and we launched at 3,000 at that time, right next to Viranandani Meadows on Pokhran 2, and that was at 3,000. Now the same apartments there are at 23,000, 24,000.
So talk about wealth creation, right? जैसे मैंने पहले कहा, आप खाली घर नहीं दे रहे हो, you're also creating wealth for the home buyer. Anuj, what did Deepak ji do? Where has Thane? What's going on?
So he actually began his first project in 1985 in Thane. It's a project called Faro Nagar, and Faro Society was the first tower he had done there. Although it was a G+8-story building, it took them 3.5 years to make it back in the day. And then in 2002 is when we began Dosti Vihar at Pokhran Road. We began bookings at Dosti Vihar at a price of 1,200 rupees a square feet. And that was a very positive time. And in 2006, we were at a price of 6,500 a square feet. And flashback to today, apartments are being resold at a price similar to what Ayushi mentioned, roughly 22,000 per square feet. So the home buyers out there have really achieved significant appreciation of their capital value and land value in the last 20 years.
So looks like we can all three agree that infra is getting built, it's affordable, we have the hill view, looks like we have better air. You spoke about 2 degrees cooler than Bombay. I don't like that, but ठीक है तो है. And then of course offices are getting built. घर तो बहुत बन रहे हैं, आप बना रहे हो, बहुत लोग बना रहे हैं. So is migration is definitely happening, right? Because people are buying houses here. Any view that is it only the Mumbaikars are moving here, or the Thane guys are upgrading from a 1 to a 2 and a 2 to a 3? Because I know 3 bedroom भी बिक रहे हैं यहाँ पे. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ 2 bedrooms बिक रहे हैं, right? Even the 3 are getting sold. Or is Thane attracting people from outside the Mumbais and the neighboring zones? Any view on that? Because migration is happening for sure.
I think all of the above. So, there was a point in time where Thane was known for 1 and 2 BHK very, very affordable housing. But now with the Thane audience themselves wanting to upgrade and wanting better lifestyle, we've seen massive movement in larger 2 and 3 beds, even 4 beds for that matter. We have in projects where we don't have 4 beds, people are opting for 2+2 jodi. Even whether it is Thane city, Majivada Junction, whether it is in Mulund, whether it is in areas like Kalwa where we have our projects, people are opting for 2+2 bed jodis, which honestly even we as developers didn't plan for that type of 4 bed because we wanted to play it safe at that point. But thankfully we kept the jodi options because but yeah, it's going at what speed, and that's the kind of evolution that we have seen in terms of Thane city upgrading itself.
People are coming from KDMC.
Yeah, so the migration is twofold. People
better homes, better quality homes,
better quality, better connectivity, better lifestyle, more job opportunities here. So people want to upgrade from Kalyan, Dombivli, that entire belt into Thane, and then of course you have people living in other parts of Bombay. We see a lot of western suburbs and central suburbs moving into Thane because they want larger spaces.
So Anuj, I'm going to ask the same question to you, but before that I'll share a quick personal story. I came from Santa Cruz all the way to Thane, to the Viviana Mall to see the Star Wars movie. वो कुछ बहुत सालों बाद रिलीज हुई थी. Because I wanted to see it in that 5D experience, right? You keep shaking, right? Because Bombay में तब था या नहीं था मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा, but we specifically came all the way to see that movie. That's the first I wanted to share. And second, my company, I have about 150 employees, of which around 100 plus live between Thane and KDMC area. All those young boys and girls tell me, हम लोग कल्याण डोंबिवली से थाना आते हैं mall for the mall experience. Right. We don't have it there, we have it here, right? So they don't shy away from traveling so much to experience what Thane can offer. But Anuj, coming to you, what's your take on this whole migration?
We have seen in most of our projects around 60% of the home buyers are from Thane, and the remaining home buyers, we have seen very affluent home buyers. So for example, most of the 4 BHKs in Dosti Majesta on Gorbandar Road have been bought by the elites and affluent crowd staying in, be it Badlapur, Ulhasnagar, Kalyan, Dombivli. For them, it's an upgrade to go from that city to Thane city. And we also recently launched one of our projects in Thane, known as Dosti Greater Thane, out of BKC. The entire point was to get buyers to come to Thane had been a challenge for us. Therefore, we chose to come to the buyer instead. BKC being an area where you have people from all walks of life, we put a sales office there. And we were very happy to see that more than 25% of our bookings came from western suburbs. So people staying in Andheri, people from Santa Cruz, people in Mira Road, Lalbagh, Bhayandar, they all have purchased homes at Greater Thane. And it's purely an investment for them. They have never visited Greater Thane, they have never been to Thane in fact. But just that this was brought to them, therefore they felt like they are missing out on something that the other part of the population are getting to enjoy.
Wow. So should I call this brand Thane or brand Dosti?
It's brand Thane.
नहीं तो again, we keep going back to infrastructure, and it's my favorite thing because I genuinely believe कि अगर infra आएगा तो real estate will grow and prosper. Right? And there's one, as a proud Indian, there's one gorgeous project being made in India called the Bullet Train, and I'm really looking forward to riding in it once it gets built. But what astonished me was कि Bombay, Ahmedabad, there are hundreds of trains that ply between these two cities. It's like हम लोग बोलते थे New York, Boston, shuttle service, right? Bombay, Ahmedabad, Bombay, Pune is also like a shuttle service. Each and all of those trains go straight north. Right? They'll go to Borivali, Vapi, Surat, Baroda, Anand, whatever. Any view, comment you would have, why is the bullet train going via Thane? The alignment, it's going to Ahmedabad, so mind it. But वो Thane होके क्यों जा रही है? That speaks a lot about the government's vision or the will to grow this part of what was erstwhile called the satellite part of Bombay, now Thane by itself, right? So I think it's a great thing to see one of the first maiden bullet train in India actually getting realigned. Let me use this word very carefully. Getting realigned via Thane to go to Ahmedabad. I mean, just a proud moment, or you think there's a... आपने तो नहीं कहा था?
No, I mean, there's definitely strategic input because the population of Thane is huge.
Super.
And when we talk about Thane as a whole, Thane is not just Thane city, it is all the neighboring areas that kind of make up Thane city. And if we were to add that population, I don't know the number, but I know it's a really, really high number.
Yeah. Thane, there are more people living than a small capital city in some state, yes.
And it's one of, I think, if you take the top 5 or 6 cities which sells maximum real estate, Thane is usually in the top 5 or 6 cities across India. So that is the volume of, real estate and people living in this city. So, I mean, definitely it is strategic that way. And I think another aspect is, when you connect it in an intercity kind of way, why is also the Samruddhi Marg ending at Thane or starting at Thane, It's from Nagpur to Thane. Because Thane has that infrastructure to then connect you back into Bombay as well. Plus, it has an inherent population that is very, very large. Beyond that, it has the business houses now, which will connect you, which will allow for that intercity connectivity and, kind of benefit from that.
Super. So on that proud moment, we can be all proud Indians. Thank you so much for this, joining me on my first show, which again I'll repeat is called Location Nexus. And till the next time, we'll pick another micro market, bring in some similar wonderful guests, and we'll talk about and us pe charcha karenge. Thank you so much.